Check, check, check. I'm not sure why this app is tripping, man. Weird. Very weird, very weird. What's up? Oh, okay. There we go. God, what is going on? This must be the end of the retrograde. This whole thing is bugging. What's up? Yeah, you say it was cool, but I'm a game fan since day one. Okay, all right. Okay. What's up, Cat? Yep. Welcome. Appreciate y'all. And you know, what's good? What's good? Yeah, look, Britt, what's up? She said, "What's up, the cat?" I'm not gonna cam up unless someone hits the panel and they cam up, and then we can have a decent discussion just about the effery that we saw and last night's verses. Again, well, shout out to everybody. I know Game is listening. I know Game listens. I know that for a fact now because he made a comment about him wearing a Bulls jersey going to his mama's house. Like y'all okay, so not the last lie, but the one prior where I was just saying, we got two liars. And that was, I mean, that's neither here nor there. I'm not gonna say either one of these cats were lying, but for the most part, I'm definitely saying that they both represented one side of the hood stuff, the blue side. Now they hop in the industry and then they become red rags or whatever. But he made a comment like, yeah, because the Nip before they started, let's just say it, D-Ride and Nipsey, they were heavy on the 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 sausage riding of Nip. Rest in peace. I mean, YG got every right to do that if he wanted to play the songs him and Nip did, which he did. He played what did he play? Last time that I checked, and Gang gets to talking about how when he first met Nip, he was driving down Crenshaw or Slauson, one of them, and bought one of the CDs or whatever, blah blah blah. But before he got into explaining himself and D-riding, he went off into that. I got love for both sides and woo, woo, blah, blah, blah. Okay, all right. Like I said, they both, in my opinion, are misleading the kids. And if you don't agree with that, then I guess you just don't agree with it. It's all good. But I would tell all these up and coming rappers, especially you from LA, you ain't got to be part of no gang. You ain't got to be none of that. If you do, just be ready to be placed in some database. Your profile, your name, your likeness, all that. Yeah, they were nut hugging Nip. And like I said, YG got every right to stake his claim and play his songs, what he wanted to play for his contribution, the stuff that he did with Nip, because he did a lot of joints with Nip, you know what I'm saying? So he had every right to do that. But yeah, I pretty much checked out, and I personally, I said Game got washed. If you ask me, Game got washed. Let me see. From what I could remember, let's just go song for song, and maybe y'all could tell me, what song, how many songs did they do? 20 songs? Nonetheless, let me look it up because I have the list here of how many songs were pretty much out there that were there. Okay, so first off, I think the first song. What do you say, Jag? They were Game had opened up with, you say Travis Barker? Yeah, it was Travis Barker. He opened up with a song. I don't think it was that Red Nation, but I guess Red Nation was Game song from when I started hearing. And y'all can see the live that I did before. F It Up or Uck It Up, that was YG song. I would say YG won that one. And then we had the one joint. Game came right after that with Start From Scratch. Right. And then, YG came right after that with Gang Bang with Joe Moses. Why I would get out. Well, okay, I get out on the Game a little bit, but then this is when they got into the Nip side of it. It was the same hoes with Ty Dolla $ign, Nipsey. The Game dropped that, and then YG dropped You Broke, Shut Up. And I saw y'all in the chat like, hey, this that joint. So YG got that one. And then YG also dropped Last Time That I Checked. His verse for Last Time That I Checked. I think Game dropped something before that too with Nip. And it was kind of like, we're gonna get that one to YG. Then Game dropped One Blood. And then the Game also dropped They Roll, featuring Nipsey Hussle. And then YG dropped, Twist My Fingers, Do My that joint was big. Like I said, LA was turned up when that song came out. You know what I'm saying? Twist My Fingers or whatever. Yeah, Travis Barker, the drummer. Yeah, because look, Game has connections to the Kardashians. I'm trying to tell y'all something. It's like I ain't gonna get too in depth. I know Chuck is listening. Tell Chuck to come holler at me. It ain't even, he know what it is. Look, I'll tell y'all straight up. Back in the day, I made a comment on Media Takeout clowning them because they did an article on them, and I said, I know, cuz I was clowning. I made a comment. It was my website, everything is on there, right? I made a comment, LOL, I know, cuz. And then his little brother, Super Chicken, aka Bird, his name is Bird, got in my comments and started talking about some whoop whoop wop wop and saying, just doing all kind of just weird whatever shit, like gang banging online basically. And then all of a sudden, my whole website got crashed and hacked. I think I talked to someone who was on the Black Wall Street team. I kind of knew somebody low key. I grew up in Compton a little bit, and mainly LA. Went to Compton High with Game or whatever, and that was the joke, because like I said, everybody at Compton High for the most part were either Crip affiliated, you cool with Crips. If Game was a Blood, he would have went to Centennial. So that's why I said I know, cuz it was just a joke. But they hacked my site. They were playing Black Wall Street stuff. This is not a lie. I'm not lying. This happened maybe 2010, 2009. And then all of a sudden, I swear, what was it? 2012. I'm in media. I was working it probably was the 2011 one. I think it was 2012. I was working the BET Awards, and I was chaperoning it was a sister from Sheen. Was it Sheen Magazine? I believe it was Sheen Magazine, Jag. That's the funny thing. I think it was Sheen Magazine, and it was me and someone else. We were, chaperoning this young lady, and she was, the chief editor or some shit, right? And I see Gang, and dude remember me. This dude remember me. He remembers me, and then he was just, oh, what's up, man? And I'm just like, oh, what's up, man? Hey, who's that you with? Oh man, she bad. Give her my number. And here, call me if you need me anything. I was like, Nick, still thirsty. But he was out in front of his event because he had an event that he was throwing after the BET Awards and stuff like that. And that's basically what he was doing, was just basically trying to get chicks. That's what it was. So I was supposed to holler at him then about it. He never, I think I hit him up about something for my documentary, but that was it. And then, he didn't even respond back. He's good for that. Everybody that graduated, we were like, everybody know what time it is. Everybody know what time it is with old Chuck. Anyway, I think dude be looking, and I'm not finna, man. Yeah, man. What'd you say, Jazzy? Who won? I'm giving it to YG. That's just me. I'm giving it to YG. I think YG won it. But it was a bad look, in my honest opinion. It was a bad look for the coast, if you really ask me. Number one, they started late. Fools was up there. It looked like what it would look like. It looked like a hood function, a hood party. Ain't nothing wrong with hood parties as long as no one gets shot. You know what I mean? But it looked ghetto. Let's just keep it a buck. And I'm not even saying it like that. I'm just saying they like if it was. I like how certain verses it just be the MC, maybe a few other people on stage, all that 50,000 people on stage. That's played out, man. I'm cool. Just get busy. Get to the songs. They were doing a whole lot. It was a little too much, if you ask me. It was too much. They were doing too much. You gonna hit the link? Go ahead. You ain't got to hit the link. What's up, LP? Hey, links in the chat, LP. Tell me what you thought of the verses if you saw it, bro. Hit the link, or if you're not able to talk, just put it in the chat. But come on up and yeah. Appreciate Cat. Appreciate you. I'm gonna put the link in again. It looked like a scene from hell. People were. I could tell it was a bunch of Crips in there. They were. Yeah, respectfully, I know a bunch of Crips were in the chat talking about they were saying some real derogatory stuff. I'm not gonna say it, but basically, you're super loked out bloods. I'll just say it like that. These people were in there clowning. But shout out to, it was a good show. It was a good performance. I definitely could see it would be a dope thing for YG and Game to get together and actually do some type of tour of some sort. I could see that, causing a bit of a ruckus, but be on some peace shit. Like if you're gonna do it, if it's gonna be Bloods or whatever, have the Bloods and the Crips and the essays come out and just say, hey, it's about peace. It ain't about all this drama. It ain't about, cats, doing all this hood stuff. We really gotta, if y'all gonna really get on it, change the game and get out here and tell these kids to be real men. Protect your neighborhoods, because that's what the gangs, at least in LA, were initially for. Thank you, my aunt. The gangs in LA started out as young dudes who were protecting their family members, the elderly, and the kids. There was an infamous group of racists. They were literally called the Spook Hunters, and they had jackets on, like Letterman jackets, and they had a black man hanging from a noose from his neck from a tree. That was their those young men, if you want to call them men, little punks, cowards, terrorists. Let's call them what they are: black terrorists. They were white terrorists to the black community. They went on to become LAPD officers, LA County sheriffs, and stuff like that. But the Spook Hunters used to go around and terrorizing black communities in LA. And most notably, it was what was it called? Before it was called Jesse Owens Park, I believe it was called was it Champions Park or something? I forget. And there were a bunch of black families there, and Spook Hunters came and was messing with the elderly black women and stuff like that. So you had a bunch of guys, some young men came and put hands on and protected the families. You know what I'm saying? And eventually they clicked up They were just little, street boys, young boys, and early. Then they clicked up. They formed the Flossens, the Farmers, the Businessmen, and the Gladiators, and that's how the gang started. What up, Dad?
Salute, salute. I figured since it's supposed to be a panel discussion, it's kind of stupid for me to sit in the chat and ain't nobody else jumping up to click this link. I don't know what's going on. Y'all need to get up here and click this link.
No, it's all good. They don't have to. I would like for it, but I appreciate you being up here.
Well, you know, I'm your sidekick, so I ain't got no problem with side kicking.
Hmm. Appreciate
So
it.
yeah, I I'm trying to understand like I don't know. A lot of people got a lot of feelings about it. I think it's good to see the old heads getting involved to a certain extent because for whatever reason, hip hop has it's not what it once was. It's not representing like it once represented. It's not.
Hmm.
But when I see a bunch of old black men running around on stage acting like fools and carrying on, just talking crazy, like it's just I don't know. It's giving old guy at the club. Like that's what it was giving to me. It
Yeah.
was giving old guy at the club. It was giving we can still do it. Like the second that he started jumping up and like my mama told me not to do this, but I'm gonna do
Hmm.
this because my
Hmm.
mama like number one, sir, you too old to just be talking about your mama, your mama, your mama, your mama. Like stop. Cause see, my mama and oh my mama and my mama and just like I don't know. Like I think I think YG was still a little rattled from getting raided that morning.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I wanted to talk about that.
Cause I think a lot of people forgot about that. And I thought it was interesting that he brought it up. But it
Yeah.
was it was real lightweight, low key the way he brought it up. Like he said it like it was, oh yeah, like it was nothing, but you could tell like he really wasn't there. And it was like Game was like heavily overcompensating.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He was doing a lot.
Yeah, it's my brother, and oh yeah, 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 cuz like just it was and I'm gonna drink this whole bottle of liquor. That's for real, probably just some Kool-Aid. I don't know. What do you think?
He's gonna do that. I'm gonna smoke this rock. This is a 20 pound. This is 20 cocaine rock. He gonna get on stage, and this is some real rock, right? I'm gonna smoke it on stage. Nah, it's macadamia nuts, idiots. That he puts water in his bottles and drinks it, and let everyone think that it's alcohol. It's so childish. It's ridiculous. Like the stunts that people do.
The, that's the problem that I have with it. He's what, almost 50?
He's about a year younger than me. Yeah, yeah, damn near 50.
Okay, so he's like 46, 47.
He's born in '79.
Who are you? Okay, so all right, he's 2 years after me. All right, so he'll be 47 this year if he didn't turn 47 already. Who are you trying to impress with this? I'm gonna suck up this whole liquor and I'm gonna disobey my mama at almost 50 years old. Like, who are you trying to encourage into, carrying on with this behavior? Like, this behavior is cool. Like, it's just, it's wild because, like, the reports are pretty clear. A good share of millennials and pretty much damn near all of Gen Z, they don't bang with alcohol.
Yeah, and good for them.
They don't bang with it. They don't bang with it. They've looked at it. They've seen it for what it is. They know what it does. There's too many horror stories.
You're muted.
They're more suscept. I'm sorry. Yeah, they're more susceptible to popping pills or something, or smoking. Smoking some cannabis than they are getting drunk. Like they're just they're
Yeah,
that's not their
yeah,
thing. So it
yeah.
goes to show you, like, are you trying to see if you can get young people to want to drink again?
Mm-hmm.
Or are
Mm-hmm.
you carrying on like this because you're trying to maintain your rep with, because your peer group, sir, are all about to be or are already getting like AARP status.
Yeah.
Like that's what I'm saying. Like who you showing out for? You're not doing it for us.
No. Mm-mm.
You're not doing it for us because we're all sitting there looking at you like, oh, if that's real, you're gonna be hurting tomorrow. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. Anybody that does something like that, like you're trying, it's performative and it's dangerous too because you got to think about it. Um, Cirrhosis of the liver is real. Like I'm glad I didn't start out young drinking. I had homies who was drinking like 40s and like it was just the thing to do. And now they have cirrhosis of the liver. They just it's just all bad. You can't even, I'll sip some alcohol every now and then, but I'm even leaving that stuff alone because, for the most part, alcohol is poison. So yeah, you're promoting a death style. Just keep it a buck.
it's definitely not a lifestyle. I'm My first drink was peer pressure. It was peer pressure. And I was a kid. It was peer
Mm,
pressure. I became a regular drinker in my late teens, early 20s. I had already been a regular at all of the bars that I hung out at on the day that I turned 21. And when I told everyone it was my 21st birthday, nobody believed me. They thought I was lying. That's how long I had been a regular.
wow.
Yeah. So, um, and I tell you one thing right now, at 49 years old, I wish that that hadn't been introduced into my life the way it was. I wish that I hadn't have leaned into it, the way that I did, because we all have to answer for the things that we did when we were younger.
Mm-hmm.
So when I see like certain thumbnails popping up in the algorithms calling yesterday's versus an LA clown show,
Yeah.
where does that sit with you?
I agree. Like I don't think that really represents LA culture. Like let's go get someone like Freestyle Fellowship. Like number one, they don't get their props. So shout out to all of them. All them brothers is cool as hell. On top, Mike and I, Abstract Rude, like real LA MCing, real LA culture. Let's give shots to Razcast for opening the door for like Kendrick, because there would be no Kendrick. There wouldn't have been a lane for Kendrick if it wasn't for Razcast. Um, this portion of LA, the Bloods and that's just a very small, minute portion of the culture. We're not highlighting like y'all got to go back. Just the Lamert Park MCs. All the other Compton is cool, but if you were to focus on the mid city MCs, Murs, even like Dom Kennedy, I give him, Dom Kennedy's nice. The Lamert Park MCs, the Nance, um, Superb. I'm talking about like some cats that people don't even really know about like that, but like focus on the real culture of LA, because LA ain't just gang banging. LA ain't just gang banging. So yeah, them saying a clown show, yeah, okay, okay, I get it. I don't take no offense to it.
I get it to a certain extent because it came off like we're pushing stereotypes heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And Game was just, he was extremely over performative. And I'm sitting there and I'm listening and I'm like, okay, Game does have a few records. He's got a few
Yeah,
records that I remember. He's got
yeah.
some stuff that I actually kind of liked. Actually, I had totally forgotten about him from back in the day until I heard him on an Anderson Pack record.
Okay.
I think it was on Malibu, and I was like, "Oh shoot, Game is still around after them suits." And I was listening, I was like, "He cool, but the hype ain't there for me." You know what I'm saying? Like the hype wasn't there. I'm like, why was he so popular? For real, for real. Was it because of his abilities? Was it because of his pen? Like that one song, I can't remember what it was. That's the other thing. When I think about Game records, you can't say, "Oh, what's your favorite Game record?" And I have to dig to remember the title of the song. So it's
Right.
like, you know,
Well, what
why
they
was
did
he
was,
everything? Why was he everything that he was supposed to be?
oh, the funny thing is Complex. Complex is, this whole this thing was, sponsored by Complex and Versus. So if you go to complex.com, it tells you, I'm on there right now, the playlist, and we're gonna talk about that. But it lets you allows you to vote who won. And so far, 41% Game, 59% YG.
YG.
I'm finna give YG a vote. And the funny thing is Game was the bigger artist at the time for the most part. But here we go. In fact, maybe I should share it. Let's do that. Let me do that. Let me share what we got here, y'all, because this is, in my opinion, I think we should be paying attention. Here it is: the Game versus YG, Compton Forever. West Coast takes center stage on the 23rd for Compton Forever. Game's 2-decade catalog, timeless hits, Hater to Love It, It's Okay, One Blood, YG No Skip playlist for modern West Coast anthems, Who Do You Love, Toxic. This is a historic celebration of undeniable classics from Compton, California. Lock in, pick your favorite, and witness hit history. All right, so let's just see. They got YG coming in number one with first song BPT. I guess it's Bompton, not CPT. And then you got Dope Boy. I'm not familiar with number one. I am not familiar with both of them songs, to be honest. And I know most of these, most of their catalog, but I really don't, rock with it like that. So that number one, round one, it's a toss up for me. This Bick and Back Being Boo and One Blood. Okay, get out when the game. Give the third round three. Get that to YG. Give number four to YG. Give number five to YG. Give number six to YG. Give number seven to YG. Because Who Do You Love and then Put You Up on Game. Yeah, Who Do You Love is a little bit harder. And I'm not going off popularity with that. With round seven, I'm just going off of which song I'll play again and again. Put You on the Game was cool. That was a Timberland track. It was okay. But Who Do You Love go? That should go. That should go. Then we got F Donald Trump, and then we got Red Nation. You're probably gonna get that one to YG. And then we got the one with I mentioned before, You Broke with Nip versus Same Hoes with Nip on both ends. I'm gonna get that one to YG. Last time that I checked, versus They Roll, I'm giving that to YG.
Yeah.
Start from scratch and I just want to party. Maybe that's a tie, but I'll get that one a game. Gang Bang versus Dreams. I'll get that one a game too. That's kind of a tie too. Okay. You heard that song with her and YG called Slide?
Yeah, Slide is dope.
Slide is dope. Now, what is this all that? I'm trying to game all that. What is I don't even remember. Let me
I
pull
don't
it up
know.
real quick. Chat, do y'all remember the song called All That by the Game? Because I'm when I think of all that, I think of that Nickelodeon show.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
All that, all that. Okay, this is all that featuring the game and Lil Wayne and Jeremiah. Hold on one second. Let me see.
Oh Jesus, it's got Jeremiah on it.
Yeah, I know. Let's see. Hold on.
I'm already out.
Oh, this is the one where he sampled Brown Lady. Okay, all right, okay. That one was cool. That joint was cool, but I'm gonna give it to I'm gonna give it to YG on this one.
Yeah,
I mean, cool. It's cool to give, that was cool. That was a cool record for Game, but I'm giving that to YG.
Slide is better.
Yeah. Don't tell them with YG and Jeremiah versus All Eyes with Game and get that one to YG too. That I think that record that he had with Jeremiah was bigger and it sounded better.
I'm not a Jeremiah fan.
I'm not
I'm
gonna
not.
ask you why. I'm not gonna ask you why.
I'm just not a Jeremiah fan. Like to me, it's like Jeremiah Trey songs. Like
Hmm.
I put the two of them in the same space, and I'd go with Trey songs over Jeremiah.
Okay. So far where we're at, we're 20. We're about one third of the way in, and I ain't gonna even really. I'm not gonna even really go over the last part because I'm not really too familiar. Okay, of course the one with Nip and YG, bitches ain't shit, and then we got the Chef Boy Gang Gang and Higher. Okay, I'm good versus My Life. That we can toss it up if it. But so far, YG smoking, in my opinion.
Well,
Big
I
Bang
mean,
Tank.
look
Go
at the
ahead.
poll. It looks like it's not just your opinion. It looks like a lot of people felt that way.
Yeah, this was the this was it. So I don't know why that's coming up. Okay, it went back. All right. Nonetheless, the poll did say 41% Game, 59% YG. Y'all can go on there and vote too. But in my opinion, YG, even though he isn't the bigger artist when it comes to exposure, he's the better artist, better songs, better catalog. So yeah,
But that speaks volumes to how, things have been happening in hip hop culture.
yeah.
Why is it that the better artist isn't the bigger artist? Why is it that, popularity in circles over relevancy of music is what it's hitting for? Because the truth is, like I was saying before you started getting into the stats of last night, why is Game so big?
I'm telling you, it's the Dre, it's the Kardashian, it's the Diddy connection.
It's because of who he's connected to. It's not because of his music.
Yeah,
And he had decent music. Nobody's taking anything away from that. But I don't know. Like they tried to make this a West Coast thing. They tried to make it a Compton thing, but was that a
wait, what happened? Repeat that. You just started glitching. Okay, you're not. I'm not hearing nothing now. So Nothing. This is they done sent a bullet to your device or something. I don't know. Maybe log, maybe sign outs come right back in. I don't know. No, nothing, 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 nothing. Somebody said, I believe this was just one big pyro party. Yeah. Yeah, whatever's going on with Jag's audio, that was weird, but she's coming back. Yeah, this was, what'd you say, Myrna, with the verses and that documentary? Yeah. Yeah, that's what it is. It was one big pyro party. There it is. And it's cool. Like I said, it's cool, but I'm telling y'all, like, and it's good. A lot of these kids are not really rocking with the whole gang culture in LA. Like, you got a lot more artists that are just, you know, that, and that's been the thing. You had to been somewhat either gang banging on wax or gang affiliated in order to really make it in LA, which is sad. Not always. It's not always, but that's pretty much what the industry has been pushing. You're from LA. Oh, where you from? Red or blue? Just like D Smoke when Snoop interviewed him the first time. Where you from? He's like, I'm from Inglewood. No, no, where you from? Like, and D Smoke and Sir, they not, they're from Inglewood, but they're not like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when you mention Inglewood, everybody know. Even Mac 10, folk, like, I got a thing about and I'm gonna start putting this together. Um the QSBs, the Queen Street, they started off as Queen Street Breakers, and then they just became gangs because it was all about hip hop when hip hop first was in LA. So you fast forward to when I talked about the Slaussons, the Farmers, the Businessmen, the Gladiators, the four major gangs that started up everything. Thank you, Mary A. Then all of a sudden they started with gang banging. Raymond Washington, Tookie Williams, Bloods, Crips, A Trays, all that, right? But for a minute, the kids were not with the gang culture because in the late 70s, the mid to late 70s, that was just like it just took on another life of its own, gang banging in LA. Then hip hop came. Now, when I say hip hop, and I know, and I see Malcolm, Black Dot Son. Shout out to Urban X, but I see Malcolm over there trying to take a shot at your boy. Like, I don't give a damn what documentaries. I don't care what y'all say, but hip hop was born in the Bronx, and you're right. But the genesis of the movement started on the West, and I can prove it. And I did it in my documentary set in the West. But anyway, when hip hop, because I'm talking about the real culture of hip hop, it started with us in 1968, 1969. Really, let's just say 1969, Don Campbell, because he formed a group called the Lockers, and his thing was locking. And, the four or five elements, I would say, yeah, they converged on the East Coast. And then you had, this thing called hip hop in the early 70s, while gang banging was being a thing out here. Then hip hop came about. It really exploded in the early 80s. You had gangs, but then you had little crews, and they were not gangs yet. They were just crews, and they were like, "Oh, we're gonna do the hip hop thing," like what Africa Bambaataa said. They're gonna just battle on wax. That's how it all started out here. Like, okay, the gang banging thing was kind of dying out, and you had more of the hip hop, more of the like I said, the QSBs. Before they were Queen Street Bloods, they were the Queen Street Breakers, and that was the big thing. In fact, that's what I got to do. I got to go catch up with my guy from the LA Dream Team. You guys don't know about the LA Dream Team? That was a big hip hop group from LA that came around during the Olympics when LA was hosting the Olympics. So a lot of these crews, they were influenced by hip hop. And then all of a sudden, they switched to gang banging. but they were influenced by hip hop first. They were influenced by hip hop. Like I said, the Queen Street Breakers were, then they turned into Queen Street Bloods. And that's where, you got, Inglewood, Mac 10, like this whole stuff. Like I'm about to really just go in. I guess what I'm about to do is turn this channel just into that. Like we're just gonna tell the stories about all the stuff that has been going on within LA culture with hip hop and how we got to where we're at right now. Every LA, it's the reason why they made LA gangbang central. And it's the reason why the CIA was able to transport and, you know, uh, put gangs basically through the music. I tripped out when I saw Banging in Little Rock. I was like, how many of y'all remember there was a documentary called Banging in Little Rock? I got family in Little Rock. Shout out to them. And I said, wait, what? Gang banging in Little Rock, Arkansas. And that was a thing. I was like, whoa. And then just the stories of like I got stories. My brother, he's from 6-0, and he was just like how they went up to Seattle, and I'm not gonna say too much, but just he was telling me some stuff, and I was just like, whoa, mind blown. Just mind blown how they really packaged up and they packaged up gangbanging and really took it to a whole different. Yeah, that's real spill, man. Look, Chris, go to my channel. I have a documentary. I have a full-fledged documentary on my channel called Set in the West. You could just look it up. The genesis of LA hip hop, and I'm talking about how the genesis of hip hop in general started in LA, and we don't get our props. I got a lot of good people in there. Then I have a teaser trailer for the part 2, which I still have all that footage. I just have not pieced it together because I didn't get a chance to interview all these people. Yeah, there was gangbanging in Little Rock, for real. If you keep getting kicked out, it's all good. It's all good. Don't even trip. I'm about to get up out of here anyway. No, you say, was that HBO or what are you talking about? For the documentary? The documentary, I believe it was HBO. I believe it was HBO. Okay, go ahead. Can you speak now?
Mic check. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, where were we?
I done forgot, but I basically started talking about the Queen Street Breakers versus the Queen Street Bloods. And like in the early 80s, when I would say the early 80s, because gangbanging been a thing out here in LA, just like gangbanging was a thing in Chicago and in most major cities, right? But it was the way gangbanging started out was this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, the Slauson's farmers, businessmen, gladiators, or whatever. Let's just say the 60s. That was going on. And then the gladiators turned into the US organization. And a lot of the gangbangers became Panthers. People
Yeah.
don't know that in LA. And then Bunchy Carter. That's why I want to do a documentary, or I want to do actually a live action type film on Bunchy Carter. I think that would be hella fly. But anyway, people don't know Bunchy Carter. He was considered like the mayor of LA. He was a gangster, and he turned into a Panther, and then they ended up unaliving him over at UCLA. But that was in the late 60s, and you had this resurgence of like the gangs in the late 60s, early 70s, and that's where you got the Crips and the Bloods, where you had Tookie Williams. He started his thing. Raymond Washington. I can get a hold of all these cats. Melvin Farmer, not Tookie, they executed him, rest in peace. But I can talk to some of these original people who started the whole gangbanging thing in the early 70s. And for like a good decade, it was on and popping in LA as far as like, just the back and forth with that. And then in the 80s, because there was always this thing, I talked about it in my documentary. You had Uncle Jam's Army, you had the World Class Wrecking Crew, you had these teenage clubs. Shout out to he was in that remember that Cheyenne Bryant thing I told you, oh boy, the senator, Bradford. He was one of the first ones to start. I think
he was clowning on
right.
Basketball Wives.
Yeah, the Steve Bradford is a cool guy, and he was very instrumental in helping kids stay out of gangs even back then, because he had, I think it was the Z-Car Promotions, I forget, but there were these teenage club things that were going on, and it kept kids busy, and when you got idle hands, you know what that is. but they say that's the devil's playground, right? So they
Yep.
started off with the teenage clubs, and they were keeping teens busy, and then the hip hop thing was going on in the early 70s. Uncle Jam's Army, he was starting, Roger really started in the mid 70s into the late 70s. And then in the 80s, early 80s, it really was about just the culture. It was hip hop. Everybody was into it. It was this new thing, and everybody was like, yeah, this is dope. So shout out to Egyptian Lover. Shout out to, all the ones in the beginning who were like, just, it was just about fun, you know. And then the hip hop thing took over. It was the cliques, it was the crews, it was just battling. It was like, who's the best rapper, who got the best, DJ, who got it. That's what it was in LA. It was like that. And then what happened? Iran Contra, the dope came in.
Right.
Now the gangbangers had a little bit of money. And now it's like, the cliques and crews that were cliques and crews, they were still doing a click and crew thing. But then it was like, okay, after this hip hop thing happened, none of us got deals or none of us got things popping. Then what we gonna do? Oh, we the gangs, it got back to the gang banging. So you essentially came back. It came back like the culture of the gangs came back in the mid 80s or late 80s, and it was money tied to it because of Oliver North and George Bush and the Iran Contra, Rick Ross, Freeway Ricky Ross. This thing is heavy, man. This
People
thing is heavy.
really don't acknowledge who he is and what he is in that culture.
Mm-hmm.
Like people really don't acknowledge him at all. Not for what
Mm-hmm.
he was. He's like the first active agent that they use in the streets
Mm-hmm.
on a corporate level to corporatize corner slanging.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm not talking shit about Freeway Rick Ross. Shout out to Freeway Rick Ross. He came on to my platform when I first started doing uh, documentaries. Actually, I'm sorry, podcasting in what 2013. That's when I first met him here. In fact, here I got him and the homegirl Miko Williams. Just so y'all know, I'm not capping. I know I got Rick Ross's number. I have his number. He's a real. Why? See, you see how when I want to do something, it don't want to. This is wild. Hold on. I'm trying to. You see, I'm trying to upload this image, and it just wants to trip. Um, Give me 1 second. I might have to do it another way. But no, Rick Ross is a real good guy, but you got a point. Maybe I just got to do it this way. You got a point to where, like you said, they took him and they made him the first. I don't know. Can we could put him in the um same category as like a Jay-Z.
Actually, he was the prototype that became the urban legend that the
Yeah,
rappers pretended to be.
there you go. And you know
How
why?
funny is it? Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead. How
No, I
funny is
was
it
going to
what?
say, how funny is it that they got a former cop to pretend to be him?
Mm.
How funny is that?
Yeah. This is at my old office when I first started doing podcasting close to a damn decade, over a decade ago. And he came through and he sat down with Miko and myself and I interviewed him. I think I have the interview on this channel somewhere. Yeah, he was an urban legend. You know why? Because no one knew how he looked. People, like even the police for a minute, they did not know. They were like, who is Rick Freeway Rick? Who is this Rick guy? They didn't know who he was. And yeah, he was this guy was a sneaky little something. They didn't know where he was at. They thought they had all kind of, they didn't, this is before, like they, and then they didn't do nothing but amped up their, how they profile people and how they get information on people because of him, because how he didn't really talk on the phone. It was a lot of stuff that he didn't do. He was very smart, even though he was illiterate at the time. He was smart as hell. He evaded the cops for years.
But that's the question. Did he really evade the cops?
Well, let's talk about it. We were just I was just looking at something about
because
Charles Manson.
evading the cops or being aided by federal agents in
That well,
some way
that's what I was about to say. Remember what we were looking at with the whole thing about
with
Charles
Charles
Manson?
Manson.
Yeah, Charles Manson. I didn't know all that about. Like he didn't just come out of nowhere. They said he was just a career criminal, right?
Actually, yeah, I mean, do you want to fill everybody in on what we heard?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, essentially, Charles Manson, the whole thing, they basically allowed Charles Manson to do what he did. And what they didn't say in that story, Jag, was about Charles Manson, how he really was mad at a lot of record execs, and that's why he did what he did. But the racial element,
He
the
was
helter
he
skelter
was
side,
he was angry with the industry.
yeah, he wanted to be this singer or something. But long story short, before they dropped him off in the whole hippie movement in San Francisco, he was in and out of jail. He was a career criminal, correct?
Mhm.
They did experiments on him with LSD. They brainwashed him. They did all the torture to him, and for years. And then he got out. They let him into the whole this little hippie movement because look, the hippie movement was a problem. The late 60s, when you had the peace and the love movement, we had all these people that were like dropping out of society, like we're not gonna go for we know what y'all, they were basically, it was almost like, think about the Matrix versus Zion. You had all these people who were like, F this system. And the government needed something to break up that whole little get down with, the CIA. I mean with the not the CIA, with the hippie movement. So they inserted Charles Manson, and they let Charles Manson dose people with LSD. The government, especially the CIA, they've been experimenting with LSD for years.
Yep.
They had a situation where they would have prostitutes go and get Johns, and they would, unbeknownst to the Johns, slip them LSD, and then they
Isn't
would
that
study the
funny?
effects.
Isn't that funny? Because wasn't that kind of like what Cardi B was bragging about doing?
Yep. So yeah, Charles Manson basically, yeah, he was a MK Ultra, like they let him out to do exactly what he needed to do, which was cause the disruption within the whole hippie movement, brainwash people. He had all these girls doing all this, unalivements and stuff like that.
Yeah,
They
like
tried
a
to,
bunch of sister wives.
oh, yep, sister wives. And guess who they tried to blame? The Panthers, because
Mm.
when they unalived Sharon Tate, right? What did they
Mhm.
leave in blood? What did they leave on the door? The
PIG
pig. Panthers were always known for calling police what?
pigs.
Pigs. Yeah. They ended up basically, catching them, and we all know the story about Charles Manson. So for you to compare what they did to him to how they allow Freeway Rick to just get out and do what he do, I got you. You right. Because Danny Blandone was his connection. Danny Blandone and
Mhm.
Danilo Blandone. If you guys don't know, go check out this book called. Well, it's not a book. It's actually in the book of two the war on Tupac and the FBI war on Tupac and other black leaders. But Gary Webb is the one who wrote a bunch of articles in a San Francisco newspaper called The Dark Alliance, and he was talking about
Mm.
the Nicaragua connection to the black street gangs through Freeway Rick Ross, and because he interviewed Rick Ross in jail, and Rick Ross was telling him about Danny Blandone, who was a Nicaraguan national who had ties with the CIA, and how they were funding the Iran Contra war with dope.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And meanwhile, nobody's acknowledging the connection that it's always a direct pipeline from the government to the streets.
Mm-hmm.
People aren't paying attention to the fact that when they couldn't find a way to disrupt the Black Panther movement, what did they do? They put infiltrators in, they put honeypots in, they did all of that
Yep.
until they shook it loose from the inside out.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's a whole just documentary within itself of how it seems like it's a cycle. Every time there's like progress, they come in and
With the
fuck shit up.
same
The same
program,
program, the same program.
the
Right
exact same
now.
program, the exact same way.
Yep. Anyway, I didn't want
You
to get
saying
too.
right now?
Oh no, I was just gonna say right now, just how they're running this race program, and I didn't want to go too deep, and I didn't want to get too far off from the versus after party. But start paying attention. They just yeah, they run the same thing. They know who could do things within society. They watch.
The best dope that they've had is hip hop.
That was the best dope, yeah. But it's not as potent like it used to be. So
No,
they
everything
look they
waters
look
down after you
they
keep
looking for
watering it
something
down.
else. They looking for
By the
something
way,
else.
well, it's podcasting. It's streamers.
Yeah, no, you're right. It's
Streamers
the
are the new
podcast game.
rappers.
You're right. You're right.
Like low key, Kai Sonata's the new Freeway Ricky.
Boom.
Low key.
I'm gonna leave it like that because that was a good one. Yeah,
One
y'all.
second though, before we go, we
Go ahead.
almost forgot. We never we have to get over into Patreon Kick and we have to have the conversation. I think we were supposed to do it this Wednesday, but we got sidetracked a little bit with
Yeah.
other stuff that was going on. The MK Ultra hearings.
Yeah. We got it. We well, yeah. We well, in fact, yeah. Maybe we could do that tomorrow, or if you want to do it, I don't know, but we can definitely just get on it this week. Are we doing the weekend wrap up tonight? I mean, I think it's appropriate, but I think we're just gonna do it a little bit different. Let's like put the call out there, let everyone know we're gonna touch up on certain topics. You say kick is kick.com/ Jaguar right.
Mhm.
That's pretty much it. We were doing things on Patreon, but we started to realize that they're still just attacking platforms that are just not down with the bullish.
Conforming that are
Yeah,
not conforming.
because there's a lot of platforms you got to be down with. You just basically got to be down with this little YouTube mafia.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Like if you're down, they'll hook you up. But if not, they will buck against you hardcore.
So
It's just nice to know that it's not just our platform that this is happening to, that it's a bunch of other people. But it's funny because to me, this feels like last summer after we did Defending Your Freedom.
yeah, and the thing is all we had to do was just keep going, and we did exactly that. We just kept going. That's all we got to do.
Yeah.
We just got to keep going. That's all. But I guess we'll just do the weekend wrap up. Like let's say after in about 4 hours. Let's just say that because
You
I got
want to
to.
do that or do you want to
Yeah,
do it tomorrow?
no. Let's knock it out because Saturday tomorrow, what we could do is the MK Ultra stuff on Kick.
Because Sunday we're not, I keep forgetting we have that thing on Sunday. So
Yeah, and we'll let everyone know on Patreon and Kick that's what's going on for Sunday. So just yeah, let's just do that tonight. Let's get something going for tomorrow with the Kick and the Patreon with the MK Ultra stuff because this ties in with it too. We could talk about this.
well, that's the thing. My final thoughts on the verses last night. It was like they were trying to sell relevance to a dying era. That's just what it felt like. It felt like they were trying to encourage people to stay locked in to that brand, to that ideology, that method. And I don't think it came off the way they wanted it to. Like I was sitting there and I was looking at the numbers for broadcasting. Complex They have almost 7 million subscribers on their channel. Almost 7 million. They didn't even have 70,000 people watching.
Yeah. Less than 1%.
They had less than 1% watching,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is crazy because that's I don't know what, the numbers were looking like on the official Versus platform, but Complex has a large, large, large subscriber base. So it's everything is kind of changing a little bit. Nothing
Yeah.
is um what it was like. People are becoming more insatiable for knowledge, and the system seems to be becoming more motivated to cut that source of learning off.
Yeah.
So it's yeah, guys, for those, thank you, Kat, for putting that up. For those of you who do not know, we did a full series with Demore Hadley, who is the daughter of the CEO of Rock Nation, Desiree Perez. And if you haven't seen it, you should check it out. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah. And they're mad at us for that. And we
Still,
can give a fuck less.
still.
Desiree Perez is going to lose big time. It's not going to be a good year for Rock Nation. Sorry. So
Mm-mm,
yeah.
mm-mm.
But anyway, we can talk more about that. In fact, we can include that with the MK Ultra thing because yeah, um,
These are
it
government operatives.
yeah, it's all telling. It's all telling. Look, just know that if you guys are interested, you could just go to Patreon and still become a free member. You don't have to pay anything, and we're gonna just announce whenever we're doing stuff. That's what we're gonna do. Likely when we do this MK Ultra here, and it's gonna be kick only because Patreon be tripping. If we're playing certain stuff, they're tripping. But we just want to get the information out. It's just really about raising the consciousness of the people, getting out the right knowledge and the right information. That's
Yeah.
all that we're here to do. So yeah, appreciate everybody who has came up. I invite everyone to come up or whatever if you care. I know some of the people here have they've checked out the little cartoon that I did. If I got my top fans, they check it out. Yeah, and
Salute
I
to
do
West
have a
Side.
and I do got a check mark. Like that fat, greasy bastard tried to floss and say, "Oh, I got a check mark." So what? You got shit stains in your drawers, you big fat funky motherfucker. But I
Wow.
have, yeah,
Tell us how you really feel.
I have a little cartoon. It's a work in progress called Westbound. I'm just gonna make it available. I'll do the premiere right now. In fact, I'll get out of here and then I'll make the premiere in about I don't know a minute or two or whatever. If y'all want to check it out. Damn, how do I do this? This is some bull crap. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, I have a little cartoon that I'm doing. I do want to expand on it. So any support, anybody that if you want to share it, that'd be great. It's just another part of the creativity, the stuff that I do. Any little support will be good, great. So yeah, I'll make it available. Tap in with this channel, and also yeah, tap in with the Jaguar, right? And you know that's what we're gonna do. Let me see, premiere schedule. I'm gonna make it right now. Boom, three. Yeah. So as soon as this comes off, you guys can check it out, and we'll go from there. All right.
Salute to Kat. Salute to Auntie Leah. Thank you for modding today. Appreciate you. And guys, let's remember that a big part of what happens here on YouTube is based around engagement. And when we have communities, we have to all make sure that we're engaging in each other's content, sharing each other's content, really, really, really locking in because the people that are, you know, spreading a lot of the disinformation, they're all working together. They're all promoting each other. They're all sourcing each other. They're covering each other's videos. They're sharing each other's videos. They're doing these things. So we got to do a lot better with that in our little community that we're building and make sure that as we're pushing it out there, we're keeping what we have going on relevant in the algorithm as well.
Indeed. All right, y'all. Y'all check it out. We're gonna be here right on this channel. You'll see it in about a minute. Appreciate y'all. Peace.
Peace.